Oké, daar gaan we.
Eerst heel even invoeren.
Ah.
Okay, here we are. We're on the road.
Yeah, this is kind of a callback to our first episode in which we talked about doing the podcast in the car. And this is the first one where we're actually in the car, so that's why there's no video. I'll try to do some visual interesting things for the YouTube watchers to look at, but we'll see how this packs out.
Yes, Tim, do your magic stuff.
Woo,
Magic stuff.
But yeah, okay, we have some subjects we wanted to talk about today, and it's fitting to our situation.
Yeah, I think we want to talk a bit about being on the road towards events, coming back from events, how easy it is to do reenactment when you have to rely on public transport and stuff like that. I think we both have some experience with these kind of subjects. We've spent many years, you can actually say, being on the road together to events. First time was with my first car, which was a tiny red Ford Fiesta. It was loaded quite full.
That was my third reenactment event.
Was your third reenactment event, indeed. Yeah, now I've got a more fitting car for reenactments. It's actually more, it's half kind of a van.
It's almost a minivan.
It's almost a minivan. The soccer mom car, you always call it. But yeah, what I've noticed about traveling to an event is when you're going on a holiday, it's just like, okay, my suitcase, stuff like that. And it's like just the trunk of your car is filled, and then you're going on a reenactment event, and it's like you're going away for a month.
Yeah, you need to bring your home away from home.
Yeah, it kind of turns it into a mobile home. You've got your tents, your gear, foods.
It gets even worse when you need to bring stuff like a pike and armor.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
weapons, pike.
Yeah.
Special thing with weapons, certainly on the road, is kind of regulations and rules by the government on how to transport those kind of things.
For you, it's even worse because you live in Belgium, but most of the events you attend are in the Netherlands.
Yeah, so it's like international stuff. It can be tricky.
Yeah.
The lucky part for me is that I don't have firearms, so it's just melee weapons. So it's kind of easier in some regards, but even then it's highly regulated. But lucky enough, there are enough rules. Oh, Google is talking. Google has found a faster road back to home, so
we're traveling by sat nav, so it's going to interrupt from time to time. That's my drink. I personally don't have a car, so I'm really lucky that sometimes I can travel with Tom and Doreen. But to events they don't go to, I usually travel by public transport, and that's a whole different kettle of fish to just cramming all your stuff into a car, because you need to be able to carry all your stuff and get it inside in the bus and out of the bus, in the train, out of the train, and all that sort of things. Have you ever traveled by public transport to an event?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
I must think. Yeah, one day events. One day events.
Yeah.
I think I've traveled once to but it's not kind of an event. It's more like a trip that you go to a city and you visit stuff in gear, but not really like an event. I think Doreen has traveled to an event by public transport because she had to work, but it was kind of a different ball game because I went with the car, so all the stuff was in my car, and she traveled to the event with public transport. So yeah, it's kind of a different ball game than what you do with all the gear on a little cart and getting it along, which it actually makes it more authentic because you have to carry all your stuff, and the soldiers had to do it back in the day as well, and I just have like a public car with all the stuff like tents and stuff in it.
And that's also the thing that I often travel to events in gear, so in my historical clothing, because that way I don't have to bring most of my historical clothing. I can just wear it. And I also did that when I was traveling with you guys. That I just traveled in my historical clothing with you guys in the car. And you guys always just had your modern clothing and your historical clothing packed.
Yes. Which makes it really funny when you have to take a break on the road and you just go like to a McDonald's or another restaurant. And we go inside and Tim is like the only one in historical clothing. Which
I'm not one crazy guy.
Yeah.
And it's even worse because it's always after an event. So I'm looking extra disheveled.
Yeah, but also the smell.
The smell.
We are used to the smell of like firewood and gunpowder and sweat and that kind of stuff. But when you walk into a restaurant, you really see people going like, what? What's that smell? And we're like, oh, shit, that's us.
And it's already bad when you've changed into your modern clothing, but it's even worse when you have your reenactment clothing still on.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of events. Oh, ambulance. Okay. We've been to a couple of events indeed, and then after the event, I was like, I'm not gonna change. And then in the car, I'm like, oh yeah.
I don't have that. I don't recognize that. I have that after an event when I hang my reenactment clothes to air out. And the next morning, I walk into my living room and
Well, I have that with my car, so I'm coming back for a weekend and then I'm going to bed, and then the next morning I come back in my car going to work and I'm like, oh yeah, I can still smell the weekend.
The aroma of reenactment. That's in every reenactment period, it's kind of the same, but still different.
Gunpowder, firewood, sweat. Sometimes a little bit of beer in it as well.
Oh yeah. The beer smell, straw.
Oh, straw, yeah.
If you go to later periods, you get oil.
Oh yeah, certainly the World War II guys. Yeah. You have kind of special smell for that kind of militaria as well, that you go like, okay.
That vehicle grease smell.
Yeah.
That somehow gets in everything, even with groups that don't have vehicles.
I think they just make it in the factory that way. Like military stuff goes out and they just just dip it in vehicle oil before it goes to the stores.
They all have a scented candle.
We should have a scented candle though of reenactment that you just put it on in your house and like, gunpowder. Yeah.
It's just the rotten egg gunpowder smell. The sulfur
smell in your house.
And what you actually need is a series of scented candles with just the year printed on the outside. Like you have 1600, 1700, 1800. 1915, 1945.
Nostalgia candles.
Yeah, nostalgia candles. The smell of a PlayStation 2 booting up.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, being on the road, sometimes you have more of an adventure going to an event than the actual event.
Yeah, we sometimes had,
Did you ever have something like that you think like, oh, what happened now?
Getting weird questions at Starbucks. While in gear at a train station.
You have to be specific. I want to know the questions then.
I have my sword on a belt hanging at my side, but really securely packed.
Mm-hmm.
But from the position, you could still tell it was a sword.
Yeah.
And people were just really befuddled. Like, what is that? And I said, that's a sword, and that's not a reenactment. But why do you have a sword? And they just really couldn't. They really just couldn't understand why.
Yeah, it is a thing that our hobby really is is a niche
Yeah.
inside of everyday life, of course.
But
So-
something really specific, weird. I don't know. Have you ever done something?
Well, I've had a couple of events where I was like, oh, what now? I've had the moment when we came back from the Battle of Groll. You were with me.
Oh yeah.
We've
the nail.
got the shoe nail,
Hobnail.
17th century hobnail inside of one of my tires.
Mm.
We were stranded in the middle of Germany.
Was it Germany?
Yeah, because no, it was not Germany.
No.
It was the Netherlands.
Yeah,
It was still
yeah.
the Netherlands. Yes. And we had to wait like in the middle of the night until ANWB, so the road
Road
service,
services, yeah.
came to
Triple A, I believe it's in America.
So yeah, but we've also got the moment when we came back from Battle of Bretagne, when we found one of the members of your group.
Oh no. That's not a one-time thing though. We had 1 year where we had one of the members of Allemansend had a car that kept breaking down after events, and we had 1 year where we passed him. He passed us when we were on the road, and I believe 10 minutes later we passed him when he was on the side of the road and his car wouldn't go anymore.
Something like that, yeah. And he still had the boat from your group.
Yeah, he's still on the boat. And it was after, no, not Bretagne, it was Archeon that year.
Archeon, yeah.
And Emde in Germany, and
Yeah.
one other. And I don't know which.
I think it was Bretagne or something
Yeah,
like that.
Bretagne. Because when we came back from Emden, he was stranded near Bretagne.
Oh yeah, something like that. He had to leave his car behind, but he had to go back home by train or something.
Yeah.
I heard, which was an entire different shit show then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've also had a moment when we went to an event in Germany, in Brome, and in the middle of Germany, my car battery died. I couldn't start the car anymore, and I was like, everybody of our group already left, so I was the last of the group to leave. And then we were like, oh, my car won't start. Shit. And we were really happy because there was some German friends of ours, Peter and Klaus, who were like, oh yeah, we can help him. We opened up the car, and we were like, okay, this thing has to go there, and then does this thing go there?
You were all just figuring out as you went.
And as we went, yes. I think we even found like a dead mouse in the motor at one point. Like, oh, this has been for a while. So yeah, the stuff happens on the way though.
Yeah. But most of the time, things just go normal and it's just a boring trip.
Yeah, the trip itself is boring. We always have good stuff to
we
talk
always have
about.
good
Though.
stuff to talk about.
A27 zorgen nu voor 22 minuten vertraging.
Oh no.
Je komt nu aan om 14:06 's avonds.
Yeah, we have kind of a traffic jam on the road, so we're now here. We're like, oh, okay, you're gonna be later. Fuck.
This is just going to be a translation of the navigation. Okay.
We are Google Translate now.
Yeah.
So I've had one time we went to an event to England, and we had to go. Felixo, yes, and we had to go by Calais.
You went with by Calais, and I went
Calais over,
by Hoek van Holland.
Yeah, you went to a different road.
We went with a group of reenactors. And you went by yourself.
I went by myself, yes. But the thing was, we had like French military police controlling the cars, and I had to explain that there was a sword in the back of my car, and they didn't understand me. My French is horrible, so I was like, oh, c'est une épée dans ma épée, and they were like, what's that bloke saying? I think it was just out of frustration. It just like, let's go. And I was like, okay.
And with us, it was. Okay, you have something. You have something to declare. We have a few swords, a helmet. Oh yeah, there are more guys like you on the boat already.
Yeah, wasn't it like Atkins who went just before?
Atkins went before us with their cannons.
With a bloody cannon on the trailer. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, certainly some kind of authority sometimes look at you like, is this really worth the paperwork? But yeah, being on the road, sometimes it almost feels like a holiday when you have like events that are really far away, and especially when you go to Germany and stuff.
And not even that. Since I started reenactment, I haven't really had the behoefte.
Behoefte, yeah. Put it in the comments. Behoefte. Damn it.
Wasn't that the name of Holly? Okay, guys, let's go.
Now I want to know the rest.
I since I started reenactment, I haven't had the urge to go on a normal holiday that much.
Yeah.
Since I go camping multiple weekends a year.
Yeah, I must find Doreen and I mostly.
You still go on holiday quite
we
quite
go
often.
we go still on holidays. And last year we went to Norway.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different experience from reenactment, but there were still some things that I took with me from reenactment, like the cassock, like cape, and it's really useful even on a camping.
It's the bushcraft / prepper mindset.
Yeah, something like that. that you bring along. So
like I'm going to bring wool.
Yeah. Well, we took woolen blankets and stuff from the reenactment gear.
Like normal people they don't really appreciate materials like linen and wool anymore. It's all polyester and stuff.
Yeah.
But not many things beat a good woolen blanket.
Certainly not when it comes to warmth and stuff. Yeah.
But not only warmth, because with the fleece blankets, the polyester fleece blankets, they are warm, but they don't breathe.
Yeah.
So you get so I have a woolen blanket on the couch, and when I grew up, my mom had those polyester fleece blankets on the couch, and I always got really sweaty feet from those. With woolen blankets, you don't. It's warm, but it still breathes.
It's more natural though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. In Norway though, it was at some parts it was really sunny, and you can see a lot of people putting sunglasses on. But I wore my reenactment hat, the broad-rimmed reenactment hat, and I was like, oh, this
70th century felt hat.
Yeah, it works pretty good against sun, but
but you look like a tit.
What? Why? Why?
It's just not really a modern accepted look.
No,
it's a bit milady.
Well, I had a few guys going like, "Oh, cowboy hat." I was like, "No, it's not a cowboy hat.
It's always a cowboy hat."
Yeah, yeah, but I couldn't give a crap about it.
Yeah.
I was like, "This works, so I'm gonna
that's
do
the way
this."
to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I must have noticed also being on the road to an event, sometimes the best ideas for reenactment get started that way. Like
also, because you have enough time to really discuss something and think about it and discuss it some more and stuff.
I think it's also pretty nice when you're coming back from an event and you have you travel a lot with me back, and then we discuss how the event went, and I really like that part of the journey back. Going like, oh, I like that. Oh, I really dislike that. Have you heard the latest rumor from this event?
The post-event tea.
It's actually just the living version of Lady Whistledown. Oh, I've heard that this guy went up in that guy's tent.
I'm really concerned about your obsession with Downton Abbey. Is that Downton Abbey?
No, it's Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. Same thing, different thing. Yeah. Same thing, but different.
I will specify. My girlfriend got me into it. She was like, "Oh, I should watch this series," and I was like, "No, it's nothing for me." And now I'm a more die-hard fan of it than she is.
It's almost a thing like she was going to watch a series, and you were in the back painting your wargaming figurines.
Yes.
And then after a while, the painting stopped.
And now I'm just going like, no, Anthony, no!
I mean, paint. Let's paint.
Something like that, yes.
But at this point, you're past the shame.
Yeah, I'm past the shame. I'm all Bridgerton fan right now. I've come out for it.
You even watched the spin-offs.
Well, it's not even the period I'm interested into, but it's just drama. I just like the drama.
Just like drama.
I'm a bit of a drama queen, yes. But yeah, that it's a part that I really like about the journeys is the talk after. And then you can also really get a picture of what you actually like on events, what you dislike, what you would like to see the next time you have an event.
And if you're even things like if you're going to do that event again, if it's a really bad one.
Yeah. But what's also a thing. Sometimes we like to organize our own events, and then you go, "Oh, I really like this from this event. We should try it at that event as well." And sometimes you can come to really nice conclusions about the hobby actually with the talk after. Also quite with gear. And like, oh, I've did that battle. This was horrible about my gear. I have to change it the next time.
Yeah, like you and Stevis Weird a few years ago trying to climb up one of the dikes.
Yeah, climbing up an earth city wall with full a bad fitting armor.
It made one of those India armors.
One of the India armors, yes. Wasn't a success. Really wasn't a success. No. Although now with my armor made to fit, it's still a hell of a task to do.
But now it's more of a success.
Yeah.
You get there eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, I always feels like the quote from Gimli, like we dwarves, we aren't made for cross country. We're natural sprinters, dangerous on short distances.
One of the worst things about traveling with reenactment is the fact that the longer you're in the hobby, the more stuff you accumulate and the more stuff you want to bring to an event.
Yeah.
Like when people buy a car for reenactment, they always okay. Now I have a big car, so I can bring all the stuff I want for reenactment. Give it a year. The car is going to be too small. When you travel by public transport,
you don't have that luxury.
You don't have that luxury, and you're really stuck to how much can I carry, and do I really want to take this with me?
Yes. But also, really, the thing about public transport is you're really kind of in a trouble situation if you want to bring up firearms like a musket or something.
Yeah, I really don't know what's.
Verkeersdrukte neemt af. Je komt nu aan om 14 voor 6 avonds.
Bloody hell. Google, I don't want to know where the traffic jams are. I just want to know if they are on the roads. But okay.
And with firearms, I really should look up what the official legislation is for transporting firearms in the Netherlands in public transport, because it's already a lot of that is already unclear with a car.
Mm-hmm.
But with public transport, it's even more unclear.
Yeah, it's even more of a hazard, and I think even it changes from transport company to transport company. I can imagine that some companies, for example, in North Brabant, have a different policy to like the companies in Friesland or something.
Though I think they don't really have that much, because it's I think that's more of a national law thing.
I know in Belgium, like public transport it's just one company for the entire part of Belgium. But in the Netherlands, almost every province, and even sometimes in the province, they have different companies for public transport.
Especially for the buses.
Yeah, especially buses.
For the trains, I think we have 2 or 3.
I think trains are national, except there are
national.
Arriva.
Yeah,
Arriva.
Arriva, and I think there's one more. Mostly it's NS, the Dutch Railway, and Arriva.
Yeah.
I don't think they have specific legislation for firearms, though.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it.
I think the rules for firearms are a bit more of a national thing.
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking too American on all this.
And I think if they have legislation for firearms, it would be rather not.
Yeah, certainly on public transport, yes. Although I want to see you going nuts in a train with a musket. Give me a minute or so to load this thing. Trying to shoot it, wet gunpowder. Fuck! But yeah, then you still have like gunpowder and stuff. Bring it on the road. Don't have really anything near an experience with it, because most of the time when you come to an event has dealt with it. The gunpowders are already there, so you don't have to bring it in your car with.
None of this is legal advice.
No. Disclaimer: none of this is legal advice. Nothing. We're just a bunch of idiots who think like, I think we're doing the right thing now.
Now, if you have a musket in the Netherlands and you work with gunpowder, there is a specific piece of paper you can get to legally handle gunpowder.
Yeah, and I think if people have questions about reenactment in the Netherlands as a whole, certainly about the legal kind of stuff, they should contact LPLG about it.
Yeah,
they're like the organization in the Netherlands that
the National Platform for Living History.
Yeah, they kind of coordinate the legal stuff about reenactments, certainly about weapons and that.
And the worst thing is that's not a static thing. The legislation for reenactment and especially the firearms keeps changing a little bit from year to year.
And it changes every year.
Almost every year.
The thing with melee weapons, it doesn't change that much, but although a few years ago, but yeah, I don't know if it's really legislation. It's normally when we had like pikes or something, we had pikes without a tip, so it's just a wooden pole.
Yeah.
You would have with rubber tips. You would have with steel tips.
Mm-hmm. Steel tips just for demos, or they could be screwed off.
Yeah, but you also have like the steel tips that were blunted.
Yeah.
But now
let's say the reenactment safe with quotations for medieval reenactment spear tips.
Yeah. But now, for example, it's kind of an unspoken rule actually in 80 Years War that when you bring a pike, you shouldn't have a tip or a rubber one.
Yeah.
So the steel tips are kind of an.
Yeah. You used to have steel tip.
I used to have a steel tip. Yes.
You've had two different types of steel tips.
Yes.
You've had the spear, just the blunted spear tip.
Yes.
With the spatulated point.
Yeah, something like that, and the screw off.
And you had the screw, and you had the screw off version, which I personally always hated. Because it looked really good. That's the thing. They look awesome because you see a pike with a point. Once you screw it off, the actual point, you still have a hardened steel thing at the end.
Yeah.
That you poke at.
It's just the same as the blunts, actually.
Yeah, it's the same as the blunts.
But
I hated that more because it also had the steel langets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when those go past someone's neck or something, it's going to suck.
Yeah. Now I have a rubber one.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a really good rubber one.
Yeah, it's actually one that's specially made for HEMA, so Historical European Martial Arts. It's made for contact sport, so yeah.
And it also has the langets.
Yeah, the langets in rubber.
Yeah, the langets in rubber, so it actually looks like a proper pike point with langets.
Yes. So yeah, bringing that on the road though is also kind of a challenge.
Yeah, and you also have a halberd.
Yes.
It also needs to come. So you've tried different ways of bringing polearms to events, right?
Yeah, I've tried different stuff. I've been like trying to just fit it in the car, which of course with a pike of 4 meters it doesn't work. So I've tried making like a sewer's pipe on my car where I can just sewer PVC pipe on the car with like screw things on the ends that I can just put them in. Didn't really work out that well, and now I'm just strapping them on the top of my car to bring them along, and that works. It kind of works. Only the thing is, with the pike with the rubber end, you can do that. With the halberd, it's kind of you still have to pack it though, because you're still with like a steel weapon on the top of your car,
and it's recognizable as a weapon.
Yeah, something.
Because the pike is basically, if it doesn't matter if it's a pike with quotations or that it's a stair banister. Because it's just a long pole.
Yeah, mine has a tip though, so it looks like a weapon.
Yeah, it looks like a weapon, but it's not really a thing that's handled that seriously by.
No, not that.
By the government.
I've had some policemen like giving strange look, like what? Yeah. What have you brought along? I was like,
how are you planning with that?
And I was like, hello, officer. I've had it with my halberd though. That I was at a gas station. I was fueling my car, and that Belgian police stopped, and they were looking at my halberd, going like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Oh, now I'm in for some trouble." And you could just see on the look on their faces, like, "Nah, not this kind of paperwork on a Friday evening. Let's go." So I went off easily there, and then since then I actually packed my halberd really well. And it's I think some kind of a rule is that you have to at least do like 3 or 4 things before you can use the weapon, and it has to take like 3 minutes to unpack it.
3 minutes?
Yeah, I've heard it.
I've heard the rule of thumb with swords.
Yeah,
that you need to have at least multiple things you needed to do or unlock to actually be able to draw the sword. So I always, when I travel, I always pack my swords, often in reenactment trousers.
Yes,
because it was long enough. And then I tied it close with tie rips. With tie rips. Is it a different word in English for tie rips?
I don't know. I think
plastic binders or something.
Yes. I think they're called tie rips in English. I think it's an English word though. But
you would think so.
It's not like rubber bands or something. So.
And it's those plastic binders are
speed binders. No, but the thing is still, I've actually sent a mail to
a male. Why not a female?
No, mail. An email. A gender neutral.
Gender neutral mail.
Gender neutral electronic
mail. Message.
A massage to the Belgian justice system of Department of Justice. Like, okay, sometimes I bring a sword or a spear or anything to reenactment events. What's the legal? What kind of legal stuff do I have to get in order to do it?
Actual legislation to be able to do that.
And they just sent me a message back. Just use common sense.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Now I've got this on paper. So yeah.
But common sense is relative.
Yeah, but for me, this is perfect common sense.
Yeah, but so it's up to the judgment of the officer in question.
Yeah,
if he doesn't doubt it, common sense for you to actually have a sword.
It started with just use common sense, and then like you have to pack it so that you can't throw it immediately.
Yeah. But it's not as Yeah, I don't believe there's an actual specific law that dictates.
There is a specific law in Belgium to bring along, and it's really funny because you can read it. It is a really old law, and it literally states you have to pack your weapons and transport them like a good house father. Really like that, like a good father figure. And I'm like, oh wait, what? It's really written down like that. And I was like, okay, yes. I can do it the gentleman way.
Just with the pinky up.
Yeah, just with the pinky up. I'm a good house father. I've packed it nicely here in my car so my children can't throw it immediately.
I'm a good 19th century house father. I beat my children. With the flat side of my sword.
Yeah. If they're really rude though, it's gonna be the pommel.
Oh yeah.
No, but yeah, some kind of rules you can read, like, oh yeah, there was from back in the time that they really would wear swords from time to time. But yeah, being on the road for reenactment events, it sometimes is an adventure on its own. Although it's getting more expensive though.
Yeah.
When I'm looking back,
everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah, but when I'm looking back on going on events, I'm like, oh yeah, I can fill my car up, and then it started going from, oh yeah, I can fill my car up to 30 euros, and now I'm spending like 70 euros on a trip going to an event or going back. So yeah, it's what you start noticing is that some groups are starting to ask transport costs.
Yeah.
That the organization of an event has to pay, like, okay, we want to come to the event, but if you can at least pay for the gasoline that we use to get there.
Like with Allemansend, we usually try to do that for the boats.
Yeah, I
just got the transport costs for the boats.
I can imagine that the boats are quite of a thing to bring along though.
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, that you have something of a compensation for that. But most of the time we just have to pay it for ourselves though.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a part of a hobby. Every hobby is expensive, although there's a little bit of a difference of going to a soccer game and going to a reenactment of a battle. So yeah.
Is it for the harde kern, the hardcore supporters?
No, for hardcore supporters of soccer.
Yeah.
No, it is kind of, but it's not reenactment of a battle. It's just a battle.
They bring less stuff, but they also the hardcore supporters also travel to different countries, and some bring weapons and
some bring explosives. Yeah.
Go sports ball.
Yeah. I think really though, when you're looking at modern sports games, I would really like to have like Olympic Games jousting again. I would really like to see that.
Isn't that the one of the origins of the modern soccer or football? That English villages used to just brawl, and there was a ball involved.
I don't know that story, but it would be most likely that it's true.
I believe that was a thing. Like there was a ball in the middle somewhere, and there was a place at one end and a place at the other end, and it could even be the center of one village and the center of another village, and people just brawled to get the ball at one of those places.
Isn't that more rugby though? Yeah. It could make common sense that that's the way that the sport gets.
And then people wanted more safety, and and yeah, then you had soccer or football or rugby.
Yeah. Well, I would like that. I've noticed that some reenactment people are listening, or at least watching our podcast. I would like to say, if you have some really special experiences from being on the road to an event,
travel horror stories,
put them in the comments. We would really like to read those. so we can go like, oh yeah, I've been there, been there too.
Why did you just transfigurate into the Kool-Aid man? Oh yeah!
No, but really, please put them in the comments. We would really like to hear those kind of stories, and it also gives us some feedback. Like, oh, we're thinking that we have a hard time being on the roads. No, they're even worse.
There's also always someone at the campfire who has some horror story.
There's always a bigger fish.
But yeah, if you have a story, please leave it in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya. Bye.